let's not waste any time. Each movie gets 1 rep, 1 stage, 1 icon, 2 items, 1 or 2 assist trophies, and each character will get 4 attacks, 4 costumes, and 4 taunts, along with a final smash. Today we're going to be pulling from 5 different Pixar movies, starting with...
I am Merida, firstborn descendant of Clan Dumbrock, and I'll be shooting for my own hand.
You know, Brave gets a lot of hate, but I've always enjoyed it. Sure, as a Pixar movie, it's nothing special, but when paired against something like Tangled or Frozen, I think it's pretty solid. They take the conflict between a kid and their mom and push it to a fun extreme. The mom is a literal queen with full authority over Merida's life, and Merida's a teen just trying to chill and be anything but a perfect little princess. And eventually the mom turns into a literal mama bear. It's very Pixar-esque in that way. You know, now that I think about it, this is kind of just turning red. The only 2 Pixar movies with female directors both follow a conflict between a mom and a teenage daughter, where one of the 2 turns into a bear. If I didn't know any better, I think y'all are trying to tell us something. We can have a silhouette of a bear as the icon, and the stage can be the ring of stones from the climax. You could have a hazard where if a player is hit against the stone enough times, it'll collapse and potentially damage the fighters. As for our rep, who other than my boy Wee Dingwall? For a side B, he can launch himself at his opponents. Yeah, okay, it's Merida. And I gotta say, put some respect on Merida's name. She's skilled in both ranged and melee combat and can scale mountains like she's trying to find shrines. She's at least A tier on the Disney Princess Strength tier list. Yes, there's a tier list. Her costumes include the dark blue dress she wears for most of the movie. The next can be the princess dress her mom forces her to wear. The third can be these black robes she wears in the rain. And the last costume can be her casual outfit from Wreck-It Ralph 2. As for her taunts, one can have her checking her bow. Another can have a wisp appear around her as she chases it with her eyes before accidentally getting hair in her face. When she fixes it, the wisp disappears. One can have her nervously offering the cake she gives to her mom. And the last can have her boldly swinging her sword, waiting for the opponent to strike. We gotta have her bow in there, so for her side B, she'll aim her bow. From there, she can point it in any direction and release. If she's in the air, she'll slow down as she aims. Her neutral B has her wield her father's sword and release heavy attacks on her opponents. Her directional attacks will also use the sword, just faster and with less damage. I'll admit her down B is a little weird, but I'd have it so that when she presses down B, she'll leave a trail of wisp behind her. If she presses down B again, she'll slash through the line she just drew. Throughout the film, wisps are shown to guide Merida, always leaving a trail for her to follow. I thought this would be a cool way to incorporate that into her moveset. For her up B, we'll have her shoot a hook shot with her bow. If someone's above her, it'll do massive damage and give Merida the high ground. If she's near a ledge, she can use it to pull herself up. The assist trophy has to be her little brothers, come on now. They're like the best part of the movie. I imagine they'd burst out of the assist trophy and cause mischief around the map, turning into tiny little bears and just mauling unlucky players. One of the items could be one of the boys' wooden swords, and the food item can be the witch's cake. And lastly, for her final smash, she jumps on the back of Eleanor and faces off against Mordu. And no, I'm not drawing a bear, I can barely draw humans. Enjoy these bear PNGs. Any opponents caught in the crossfire of the battle will suffer massive damage.
I'm joy. This is sadness. That's anger. What? This is disgust. And that's fear. We're Riley's emotions.
You know, Riley's lucky she got a joy pilot in her brain. My fear and sadness out here doing overtime. But anyways, Inside Out, am I right? Another certified Pixar classic. And in classic Pixar fashion, they take a complex idea and present it in a fun way. And this is the most Pixar movie to ever exist. The whole message is that you don't always gotta be happy. Sometimes the happiest moments come right after a fit of anger or a depressive rut. Balance is key. Sadness instinctually starts touching all of the emotions because joy has deprived Riley of ever feeling sad. It's not till sadness takes over that Riley finally gets the chance to come to terms with her new life and reach true happiness. So anyway, Smash Bros. The icon can be a silhouette of a head to represent, you know, Riley's head. I imagine the stage can fly between different locations, so it can start off in headquarters, then fly down to long-term memory, then down to the memory dump, then maybe one of the locations can be the abstract thought machine. So you can see every fighter as some sort of abstract shape, slowly degrading into two-dimensional blobs. That'd definitely count as a stage hazard, but it'd be fun to see. I want all of the main emotions to get represented, but we only got 4 costume slots. So our reps are gonna be joy, sadness, anger, and disgust. Sorry, Fear, it's not my fault you're built like Sid the Sloth ugly cousin. Realistically, disgust would probably get benched since she's got the least amount of screen time, so you know, either or. I'll just talk about all of them. The first taunt would vary depending on the emotion. Joy can either twirl her dress or play the accordion. Sadness could start crying. Anger could start reading a newspaper before blowing up in anger. Disgust starts gagging at the opponent, and Fear could start shaking in, well, fear while attempting to put up his fists. The second taunt can have him take out a core memory, react to it in a way you'd expect, rub it a little bit, and put it away. Another can have them tinker with the control center in a way you'd expect from each emotion. Sadness would start crying, anger would slam the keys, you get it. The fourth can have them each put up their memory on the little memory projection thing and have some type of scene play out, which would prompt the expected reaction. For the neutral B, they can chuck a memory ahead of them. It bounces around, damaging opponents. Down B can be kind of similar to Kirby's down B, when he turns into a random object and drops down. Instead, the emotions will turn to their abstract form, shown in the abstract thoughts machine. Side B has them go into Bing Bong's rocket and jet around the stage. They charge it up and blast off to the other side. Up B has each of them burst into the air in their own unique way. It doesn't do damage, but it gives a good amount of height. Joy would float into the air and glide on her dress. Sadness would float up into a cloud of sadness. Anger would burst into the air using his anger flames. Disgust can either throw up to burst herself up, but you know, that's kind of gross. So maybe we can have a row of Riley's boyfriends pop up in the background and lift her up into the air. Fear would just jump into the air like a scared cat and continuously try to move his legs to avoid the ground. All of these would be functionally the same. For one of the assist trophies, we can have it so that the memory of the sexy Brazilian helicopter pilot covers most of the screen. Not that I think he's sexy, but I just need like a description, you know? You could even randomize it so it can sometimes play the triple dent gum commercial instead. Either way, I think this is the perfect way to represent that aspect of the film. The cast and players would get equally annoyed at these memories. The food item gotta be the broccoli pizza. Like, I have distinct memories of watching commercials and this was in every single trailer. The item can be a pillow. When grabbed, the floor turns into lava and lasts as long as it's held. The final smash has them down a smoothie and get a brain freeze. Ironically, everything but the user freezes in place, making room for you to get some free hits in.
Always believe that with hard work and a little luck, it's only a matter of time before I'm discovered.
Next up, we got Ratatouille. And what can I say? The movie about a cooking rat is yet another timeless classic. Again, the concept of a literal street rat becoming the best chef in Paris is the most Pixar thing ever. Though personally, I'm not letting any rat near my food. Doesn't matter how clean they are, doesn't matter if they got human sentience, they are walking diseases that deserve less. The icon is a chef hat with a rat snout on the bottom, same as the one in the movie's logo. The stage can obviously be the kitchen. For our rep, we got Linguini and Remy. And just to make it easier on me, I'll be referring to them by their ship name, Remguini. Remguini's base fit can be the chef outfit. Another can be the casual outfit he wears outside of the kitchen. One can be his waiter uniform. And since he doesn't have any other outfits, let's just give him a rat costume you'd find at Disneyland. One taunt can have them shake a giant salt shaker around them. Another can have Remy jump down and start bickering with Linguini. The third can have him sharpen his knife. And the last can have him take out a soup ladle and taste test it. For his neutral B, Remguini wields a kitchen knife. He can slice and chop even while moving. I want to add that all of his attacks will have an air of clumsiness to them, since Remy is riding Linguini, controlling his every move. For his down B, he'll start cooking a soup. The longer he cooks, the stronger his side B will be, in which he trips and spills soup in front of him, covering the opponent in scalding soup that'll damage them over time. The soup has a bigger attack radius than the pot, but the pot itself will also do damage if it's close enough. And for his up B, he'll spin the soup ladle upwards. One assist trophy can have Remy's disgusting rat family come from the bottom of the stage and cover it. They'll damage any players that come in contact. Another can be my boy Ego Anton doing what he does best: critique. He'd come in and rank each player on how much damage they've dealt. Whoever's done the least is blasted with the Anton Blast, a fate worse than death. Obviously, the food item's gotta be Ratatouille, and if there's one movie that needs more than one food item, it's this one. So I also want to include a bowl of soup. For his final smash, he traps opponents in a soup and adds a bunch of ingredients as a bunch of rats surround the dish, eagerly awaiting their next meal. The cutscene ends with all of them diving to the soup and nibbling the opponents to death.
Wally.
The most unrealistic part of this film is that the people of the Axiom are actually taking the time to leave their house. WALL-E's not just a movie, man, it's the future. I don't know what cognitive dysfunction took place to make humans care more about short-term gain over the long-term health of our planet. Don't be surprised when in 2,000 years, humans are all but wiped out and rogue Tesla bots run the world. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, WALL-E. Yeah, this is a great movie. The first 30 minutes or so before they reach the Axiom, there's barely any dialogue, yet I'm completely invested in what's going on. The animation does a lot of heavy lifting. There's a lot of physical comedy and subtle personalization. These near voiceless characters are some of my favorites in Pixar's entire catalog. This is visual storytelling at its absolute best. But anyways, for the icon, I don't think you can go wrong with Earth. The stage can, again, be 2805 Earth. Who would I be if Wally's rep was anyone but the little trash compactor himself? He's another one of those characters that doesn't change outfits, so we get to be a little creative. After his base outfit, we can have him in a little Eve paint job, with a little white coat and blue digitized eyes. Another can give him the red paint job to represent the By and Large company. And the last can be the little makeover he gets from the makeup robot. Like I said, Wally is filled to the brim with physical comedy, so I'll have no problem coming up with taunts. One can have him play with a ping pong toy before accidentally hitting himself in the face. Another can have him start playing with a fire extinguisher, which ends how you would expect. One can have him take the plant out of his stomach and show it off. And the last can have him hold out his hand for a handshake. His neutral B has him shoot a little laser forward. I imagine it'd be kind of like Fox and Falco's, where it doesn't have any knockback. His side B has him dig up trash in front of him and compact it. Press it again and he'll shoot it out of his stomach. If a player's in front of him, he'll scoop them up and somehow fit them into his tiny trash compactor. They'll be released to massive damage. For his down B, Wally retreats into his box form. In this, he's immune to any attacks for a short amount of time. If he's in the air, he'll drop down and damage anyone in the way. And his up B has him spray a fire extinguisher to boost him up into the air. The assist trophy is Eve. She boots up and targets one of the players with her gun. Whoever's unlucky enough to get targeted will get obliterated by her slightly overpowered handgun. The food item can be the By and Large all-in-one smoothie that everyone's addicted to. The item can be my boy Mo. Once you pick him up, he'll boot up. Once you throw him, he'll go around cleaning the stage, burying any players in his way. Wally's final smash is a cutscene where he makes way for two giant Wallays to scoop up the opponent and shoot it out. And just when they think they're safe, the full might of the Axiom comes down and crashes into them. Man, y'all need to stop hating on Elemental. I'll admit, for the first 30 minutes or so, it wasn't beating the generic Pixar movie allegations. But as it went on, it started to pick up a little bit, and now I can safely say we got another banger on our hands. It's not the craziest idea for a movie, but I think they made the most out of it. The icon can be a fireball, and the stage can be Firetown. For our rep, we have Ember Lumen. She's a hothead made of fire. She was literally made for this. Her outfits include her base black dress, another can be her purple jacket, and another can be her blue jacket. And the last can be the sparkly jacket she wears at her dad's retirement party. Her first taunt can have her start crafting pieces of glass art and showing it off. Another can have her juggle different minerals, turning a different color with each one she touches. One has her turn into a big wall of fire and start taunting the opponent. And the last can have her snacking on the fire trait her store sells. For her neutral B, she forms a giant glass shield around her as a parry. If someone falls for it, spikes will pierce from the glass and damage them. For her down B, she causes a fiery explosion of anger around her. Her side B has her blitz across the stage in a dash of fire. And her up B has her float on her umbrella. For our assist trophy, Wade starts running around the stage and crying. Not only do his tears damage opponents, but if he touches an opponent, he'll start hugging them while continuing to burst into tears. The food item can be, again, the fire snacks her store sells. And the item can be one of Ember's sculptures. It does a ton of damage but breaks in one hit. For her final smash, Ember starts zipping around an enemy, wrapping them in a glass ball before kicking them off screen. And with that, we've got 10 reps for our little Pixar Platform Fighter. And we still haven't touched Toy Story, that's crazy. I had a ton of fun working on this, so if y'all want a part 3, just head down to the comments and let me know. And while you're there, feel free to let me know which of these 5 fighters you'd end up maining in this hypothetical Smash clone. For me, it's gotta be Merida. I'm a big fan of quick middleweight characters, and her down B would make for some devious combos, I can already tell. But anyways, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.